Hi, I'm Emily for Kids Corporation. We're here in Avon Park, Florida at South Florida Community College in a tour bus with Christian recording artist Josh Wilson. Hi, Josh.
Hello there.
When did you start singing and playing the guitar?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was in the 6th grade, so I guess I was about 12 years old, and I'm 26 now, so yeah, about 14 years ago. And I started singing in even younger than that, when I was maybe 8 years old.
If you weren't a singer, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't a singer, I might like to be doing something outdoors. I've always loved the outdoors, so I don't really know what I would be doing, but hopefully it would be outdoors. Maybe a ski instructor or something like that. I've always loved snow skiing. I don't know if I'd be any good at it, but something I'd like to try.
You've been married to your wife, Becca, for a little over a year. How do you manage being away from her on tour?
Well, Becca gets to come out with me on tour some weekends. She's actually in college, and so she's not with me during the week. But she comes with me on some weekends, and we have made a commitment on our first year of marriage that we weren't going to spend any longer than 7 days apart. So if it was going to be 7 days, I would go home, or she would meet me where we are. And we held to that our first year of marriage, and we're going to try to do the same thing this year.
What are the best and worst parts of traveling on a tour bus?
Well, let's start with the best. The best part, I think, of traveling on a tour bus is that you get to sleep a full night every evening, because you finish the concert and then we leave the venue at about probably midnight, and we pull into the next place by 8 or 10 a.m., but there's bunk beds here in the bus, and we get to sleep all night. We have a driver who actually sleeps during the day, so it allows us to get good sleep every night. So the worst part of being on a tour bus is there's 12 different bunks, and you put 12 guys in 12 different bunks on the same bus, and it gets a little bit crowded. So that's probably the worst part, which isn't all that bad.
Our viewers might enjoy many of your YouTube videos. I enjoyed watching you play for stranded passengers at the Newark airport, but my favorite has to be Josh Can't Find the Bus. Care to explain?
Yes, this was actually one of my very first tours, and living in Nashville, there's a lot of Christian musicians and country musicians too, and there are certain stores in Nashville where the buses all meet to leave, and everyone brings their cars, and they can leave their cars in the parking lots. So sometimes you'll pull into one of these big places, and there's 5 or 6 different tour buses. And so my very first time on tour, I was looking for the bus that I was supposed to be on, and there was 5 or 6, and I didn't know which one was mine. So I accidentally almost got on Martina McBride's bus. Thankfully, I didn't walk on. That would have been a little awkward. But I finally did find it. So I've gotten better at finding the bus that I'm supposed to be on.
This is not our bus, but I almost got on it.
No, not our bus. Not our bus.
Is this my bus? Nope. That's the plus bus.
I know you've done music videos in the past. What's that like?
Well, doing a music video is a lot of fun, but it's quite different from actually recording the song, because what you do is you play the song over a loudspeaker and then you sort of lip sync to the video, and so it's kind of odd to not really be singing the song or actually playing the instrument. It's different than anything I've ever done, and something that's a little awkward for me is a lot of these videos I'm singing without a guitar, and so usually when I'm on the stage I'm playing while I sing, so it feels a little awkward. I don't know what to do with my hands when I'm singing a music video, but hopefully I'll get better at that as time goes on.
Josh has a new album coming out in February of 2011 called See You. How did you come up with that name?
Well, I came up with the title See You after the songs were all recorded, because I didn't really know, first of all, which songs were going to go on the album, and then I also didn't know how they all sort of tied in together. But as I finished each song, I realized that each one sort of talked about a different way that I've seen God at work in the last year and a half of my life since I released my previous album. And so I figured that was sort of the common bond, was that each song was a way that I've seen God working in my life. So there's songs about getting married and my first year of marriage. I've seen God at work there. There's songs about the beauty of God's creation and how I've seen God in that. And then there's also songs about pain and suffering that I've watched my friends go through, but the fact is I've seen God even in those situations.
Our viewers might be surprised to know that Josh played most of the instruments on this upcoming album. How did you do that?
Well, we started with bass and drums. Those are the two instruments that I did not play. We went into a studio. I had already recorded the acoustic guitar and the vocal track, and we went in and there was a bass player and a drummer, and they tracked their parts. And then I went back with the producer to his studio, and then we would just lay down a new instrument every time on each song, and I played a lot of different things. Acoustic guitar, electric guitar, baritone guitar, classical guitar, mandolin, ukulele, banjo, auto harp, dulcimer. I mean, you name it, we probably put it on the album, and it was a lot of fun. The producer that I worked with would keep handing me things and say, hey, play this, and I sometimes would say, I don't really know how to play that, but I would kind of tinker around with it until I figured it out.
You wrote your new single, I Refuse, about the devastating Nashville floods this past May. What can you tell us about the song?
Well, I was actually out of town when the flood came through Nashville. It was a 500-year flood, which means it was really big. And when I got back and saw all the devastation, my heart sort of broke for the city, because there were 10,000 houses that were underwater in the Nashville area, and about 20 people died in the flood. And so I found myself praying for Nashville over the next few days, praying that God would bring people to help. You know, there was a lot of work that needed to be done to rebuild all those houses, and a lot of money that needed to be raised. And I prayed that God would stir people's hearts to do that, to give money and to give their time. And I realized after a while that that God was stirring a heart, and that heart was mine. He was saying that because I'm a follower of Christ, I'm the hands and feet of Jesus, and I need to get out there and actually do something myself and give something myself. And so this song it's about the flood. That's where it started, but it's even bigger than that. It's about those of us who know Jesus actually living out our faith and serving those who are in the greatest need.
For Kids Corporation, I'm Emily. See you soon.